minutes. So, but in these series of sessions, you are the boss. I'll go by what you say. Because we were groomed in DCM in Charat Ram's days, and it was 1 minute late means half a day's salary goes. That was the system. And computerized attendance way back in 1982, mind you. So no hanky panky, no, that it was part of the factory only. HR set up the part. I was there.
So I am groomed in that
school.
सर आपके आवाज में इको हो रहा है थोड़ा सा. Maybe you have logged in two different devices और सबका voice.
Yeah. I will
leave this one. I'll do
right.
that.
Right.
Is it okay now?
Perfect, sir.
Yeah, I was just ensuring that things should be ready. It keeps on having one device keeps on having problem at times. Okay. So let me share the PPT just in case there's a problem. Then you can. But this one needs a little bit of correction still. The later part, which I don't think we will reach today. So don't put it up right away. And in any case, pre-class never put up any PPT. Let people attend the session, understand things, and then only it should be put up. So please put it up once I say yes. I'll need to do some corrections also.
Okay,
yeah.
Sir. Perfect.
So is it visible
now? Not yet, sir.
No?
Sir, you have to open the PPT first and then you have to share.
Yeah. That's what I did. Is it okay now?
No, we are not able to see the PPT.
You're still not seeing it? Okay.
No. Yes, अब आ रहा है, sir. It has started coming. Now I can see your screen.
Good. Okay.
Yes, अब आ रहा है, sir.
So
Session 3.
Badhiya. So I am going on to slideshow so that we have a sequential thing. Now it is. Yeah. So tell me where to begin. I am ready. Just give me 1 minute. I'll open this thing on my laptop also, because then what will happen is I will be able to see the full PPT on that. With slideshow, you only see part of it, which creates problems at times. Or I don't know, maybe my IT skills are poor, that is why it happens. Do we begin?
Yes, sir, we can start now.
Okay,
we are already 15.
So, fair enough. So, basically what I said, for those of you who joined in just now, is that, we have so far understood. This is the 6th session today, Arvind? Is it the 6th session, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, till now, first we understood OB and HRD. Then we understood the concept of OD. And then we last time did the concept of change management. I know a lot of details can be covered, and we will, because that theory part would be needed more near your exams. But what is important is also to start applying what you have learned, right? So practice is very, very important, which is why I keep on insisting that whatever you want from me, you should give me the situations or cases. And Arvind has very kindly said that he will share the last paper and case. But please, unless all of you join in, having read the facts and be clear on it, there's no point in taking it up. And my whole problem all the time, and I'm being absolutely blunt about it, by repeating, I have no problem. I can repeat 10 times, but I feel terrible because by repeating, by allowing people to, read cases during the session time, I am penalizing the sincere people who have been attending, who have been doing their homework, and people who have not done it, they get extra leverage. This is what I tell my students in my visiting faculty work in B schools also, that if it is, you have to submit something by 5 p.m. on 24th of April, it has to be 5 p.m. on 24th of April. I may not check it for another month. But if I am permitting you even an extra hour, the people who have submitted on time, I am penalizing them. Because if they had got one additional hour, they would have also improved their write-up or whatever. So please understand, it is not about penalizing the people. It is about being unfair to the people who are sincere. And that is what pains me, right? So please look at things from that perspective. You are all senior professionals and you have to deal with people. You will meet all kinds of people in your organization, already dealing with them. Make these things very clear to them. Then only they start realizing as to why you are saying something, right? Okay. So today we are moving on to applications, and a broad summary of this is, now OD is still an evolving field, let me tell you that, and therefore there are a lot of gray areas. Is it an intervention? Is it a methodology? Is it a technique? So don't worry too much on these things. Different books will give you different perspectives, right? So you don't have to get wedded to one kind of classification, including the one I'm giving you right away, right? So you have to understand that OD is the end result of a change process. If you want your organization to develop, you have to bring about changes, relevant changes, systematic changes, planned changes. And that is the essence of OD, right? So there are two general types of interventions that will normally come across. One is called the structural intervention, which is, as we will define in the next slide, don't worry, which does not base itself on the behavioral or the attitude aspect. Does not, right? Structural on the face of it will be some kind of a technological change, okay? Maybe some kind of shift timing change, those kind of things. I am purposely giving you less examples because we'll get into the details. So structural is something where we are not directly hitting at attitudes and behavior, right? The other type of change, that is the process changes, these interventions typically are rooted in attitudes and behaviors. So structural change, which does not root itself on attitudes and behaviors, and process changes, which are rooted in attitudes and behaviors. But as we go along, you will see that you cannot have a structural change without some element of process coming into the picture. We will understand why it is so. At the same time, when you bring about a process change, which is rooted, your aim is, your objective is to change the attitudes and behaviors, which is the essence of OD, so to say, you will find that some kind of structural changes may also be needed. So we are talking of predominance here. A change may be predominantly structural. A change may be predominantly process, but you will hardly ever find 100% structural change which does not need any kind of process change, or 100% process change which does not need any kind of structural change. That is the first thing you need to understand. Then, as you go along, to do these changes, you come across the specifics, which particular intervention you will get into. Okay. It is something like picking up on an HRM book or an OD book. Will you go through A book or B book or C book or D book? So there are choices of methods. And I am giving you the prominent ones here. There are hundreds of methods. So there is, and every OD consultant uses these prominent methods also in combination to get the best results. So those are details. As we go along, you will see. So what have I said so far? First, structural change you have brought about, planned and systematic, yes, but basically not rooted in human behavior. Second, those changes which are rooted in human behavior, right? And what are the kind of techniques available to us or types of interventions? You have action research. We'll get into that. You have a method called survey feedback. You have team building. You have sensitivity training, which are earlier they were called T groups. Those of you who are in the field would know. Managerial grid, which is based on the Blake and Morton's managerial grid. That is another intervention that we find in OD. Process consultation and quality circles is a good example. These are called SG as a general term. SGA means small group activity. So through small group activities, you bring about changes. So this is the list of the broad picture. There are many more, right? Okay. So now let us get into systematic understanding. This is no explanation needed. We have already done this, right? Now read it carefully. What is a structural intervention? Okay. So that means you could merge two activities and create one department out of it, right? As I said, you could change the shift timing. Instead of having a 5-day week, 40 hours of work, 8 hours each day, you could convert it into 4-day working. I think one of these IT companies did it, Microsoft or I don't know which, I can't recall. In Japan, they tried it. So you can convert to 4 days working, but 10 hours every day. So there is 40 hours of working per week is retained or maintained, but instead of spreading it over 5 days, you spread it over 4 days. I am not getting into plus or minus of it. I am not greatly in favor of these kind of changes. For obvious reasons, human mind is such a thing that they get used to the benefits very easily, but they will not be able to give that output because there will be overstress. So if you're working 8 hours a day and moving to 10 hours a day, right? The 3 days of holidays you will enjoy, you meaning the employees, but the output, I am not very sure. Initially, maybe, but over a period of time, fatigue will set in, and then there will be request of why don't we make it 3 days a week, 13 hours a day, or whatever. So that is the kind of thing which keeps on happening. So, and I have actually faced it with our union. Time permitting, we'll share that. This was when the 5-day week was introduced by Rajiv Gandhi in 1985, right? So we had a huge problem with that. So I'll come to that when the appropriate time comes. So structural intervention means you are altering without focusing on the behavioral patterns. But the moment you do this timing change, do you see that people have to have some kind of change in their behavioral patterns? If I was getting up at 6 in the morning, now I have to get up at 4 in the morning or something. to reach at the same time, to do these 2 hours extra every day. That will involve a behavioral change, right? So all these kind of things, when you bring in a structural change, there will be a behavioral change associated. Look at the transition from the physical letter writing or inter-office memos to email. Okay. So what happens? Or even WhatsApp and all the social media together. It is a structural intervention. You are not asking people to change their behavior, but do you see that a behavioral change is definitely needed? So that is where none of these changes can do without the other to some degree. That's why I started there. Okay. So we move on. Process intervention clearly is looking at the attitudes and the behavioral processes. And let me make it amply clear. Attitude cannot be seen. It is the behavior that is seen. But all of our behavior, apart from the area of subconscious and unconscious, and I am not a great psychologist or psychiatrist to get into all that. So basically, all our behavioral patterns that you see are a manifestation of the attitude I have. The way I behave is prompted by the attitude I have. Attitude cannot be seen. Behavior is what you can see, right? And that is why the intent becomes very, very important. The same words said by somebody can be interpreted differently, right? Depending on how much you know that person, right? And what has been the past behavioral pattern of that person. So attitude is very difficult to determine. Behavior is obviously visible to everyone, right? So that link is there. Okay. Even in the most severest of crimes that one can commit, a murder, it is always what is called mens rea, which means the intention. It is not just the act of harming somebody or killing somebody, but what was the intention behind that is always needs to be proved, right? So that is what is the difference between structural and process. And as I said, a minimal of each will be there in the end, even if the intention is not there. Now, little more detail on structural. Okay, now there are two parts to it. Now, for example, when there is an amalgamation happening, okay, or a takeover is happening, two companies are merging into each other, right? So when that happens, there are legal implications, there are marketing implications, there are finance implications, etc., etc. But for us in the OD space, we need to understand that when the two companies merge, it is a structural intervention. But the outcome of that would be that the two marketing departments of two different companies will merge into one another, and therefore you may get a new boss. You may have some kind of transfers or postings, etc., etc. Some may even lose their jobs. So that automatically brings about some kind of behavioral issues into it. So if you now read the last part, ideally, that means why would you get into a structural intervention which will lead to more problems than there are currently? That doesn't make sense. So when you are looking at a structural intervention, sensible management and sensible OD consultants who are helping with these transitions, bringing about these changes, Ideally, their plan should be such that it creates more favorable behavioral relations, favorable attitudes among members of the organization, leading to a higher level of performance. What is the ultimate test of an organization? You can keep on talking about, lots of things till the cows come home, but at the end of the day, it is performance. It's as simple as that. So we need to understand this, that we are in the realm of business. This is not, and I'm a hardcore HR person saying that we are not in the realm of personal relations. अरे भाई कोई बात नहीं, एक भाई थोड़ा कम कमाता है तो उसको रोटी थोड़ी कम दे दोगे. Sorry boss, we are in business. We are in a competitive world. So you have to make your people realize, I am all for empathy. I am all for helping people, but you must be equally severe on people who are just getting benefits out of the company and doing nothing in return. I'm sorry. For too long. Right? Because that, as I was saying in the first part of the class, that if you are unnecessarily lenient to people who are bad performers, you are discouraging your good performance. That is always my test. It is not about being cruel to them. It is about being cruel to the good performance. If you keep on supporting the bad performance. Of course, that doesn't mean you hang a person on the very first instance of mistake. So when all these GETs and MTs would join in, I think I have given you a reference in my earlier classes, 120 odds we were taking every year. And since I was the common factor, a permanent fixture in the interview team at the campuses, and they would come and join in my department, so I was the most familiar person. And for one full year, they would report to me administratively. So repeatedly, I was given that as a professional, engineer, MBA, CA, LLB, whatever you are, one mistake of one kind is tolerated. But the moment you commit a second mistake of the same kind, you fall out of favor with me. I'm sorry. Because we have to run a business. Right? So we need to understand that if you have a problem, if you are unable to find a path, please come before committing the second mistake. Right? Seek help. We are all there. So that is the philosophy that has to be guided. We cannot run with this, and I keep on saying unfortunately. And what is happening in the current COVID scenario also, at least 50, 60, 70% of the cases are due to lack of following the instructions of the rational senior doctors. All kind of home remedies, all kind of babas, and everybody is distributing jam, but they don't have mask on the face. The other day I got stuck in a traffic jam. What? Monday, before the lockdown started. And this was near my place. I had almost reached my place. Why? Because there was a whole lot of cars and mobiles parked. I thought, I know what calamity has happened. Then when I come closer and, slowly inch my car through, I realize it is the Daru shop which has attracted these many people. So this stupidity of, accumulating Daru for the 6 days or 10 days or 1 month, whatever, is more important than, and there'll be a hue and cry if the petrol prices go up by 2 rupees or 1 rupee. But they are willing to pay double and triple the price for the Daru. So I'm sorry, I am not one who will not condemn these. And no mask, no nothing, everybody piling on to the other person. What nonsense. And you are creating this kind of heavy pressure on hospitals and the doctors and nurses and paramedical staff. So rationality. If you are rational, rationality would also teach you to help the people who need that help. Somebody who has fallen sick. Now, because of my way of speaking, a lot of people think I have no empathy in me. I'm sorry. I have all the empathy, but for the right people. You can't take the system for a ride and then, it's something like I go to a court of law and tell the judge, please, judge, sir, maaf kar dijiye. मैंने मर्डर तो किया है पर प्लीज माफ कर दीजिए क्योंकि मैं तो अनाथ हूँ. This is the logic Indians use. I'm sorry to say this. And judge asks, okay, तुम अनाथ हो, क्या हुआ? पता चला किसका मर्डर किया, मेरे पेरेंट्स का मर्डर करके आया हूँ और मैं अनाथ क्लेम कर रहा हूँ. That is the kind of nonsense we have been tolerating. So particularly organizations have no such thing. You have to be clear. Yes, somebody who is genuine, 100% help must be given, no question. But these crooks have to be punished equally so. Then only you can build a society which is sensible, right? So rationality will automatically take care of emotionality is my view. Okay, so we move on. So coming back to structural, some examples.
Sir, can I ask a question? Vinita had one question.
Please. Please.
So the question is, are structural and process interventions so clear-cut and separate? My understanding was like, the structural process interventions, structural and process interventions, they are clearly different. But as you said in your last slide also, any structural change can also initiate.
Arvind, your voice is getting cut in between. You have to repeat. I'm sorry. The voice is getting cut.
Okay, sir, I'll again repeat.
I don't know whether at my end or your end.
No, sir, your voice is coming across nicely. Arvind's voice is dropping.
Vinita,
he was reading from the chat box, sir. Yeah. Sir, so Arvind was just reading from the chat box. He was, there was some discussion happening in the chat box itself where we were wondering what is the structural and process interventions. Are they really different? And when you go and apply in a practical world, can you really differentiate them, or are they dependent on one another, or will one lead to the other? What is the reality in the practical world? Theoretically, understand.
That is what briefly I mentioned, that when you plan a structural intervention, you must ensure that, you must be clear in your mind that some amount of process intervention would be needed. For example, now we'll take examples and that will make it very, very clear. Introduction of a new technology, okay? On the face of it, what is it? It is a structural intervention. You're not talking of behavior here, technology. But in introducing that technology, you will have to train your people. Some people will be fast learners. Some people will be slow learners. Some people will take a lot of interest. Some people will not take interest, So all those things have to be factored in. So saying that I want to introduce a new technology, on the face of it, is a structural intervention. But you must be clear in your mind that this will be successful only when you have taken care of the process element. Though the initial intention was not to bring about a process flow. And purposely, therefore, I have taken a small case, which might be a mix of things, and I'll ask you as to what do you feel. Subsequent slides, it will come, right? So that is the point you have to understand. There are no 100%. What is it that you start with will tell you whether you want to start with a structural intervention or you have decided that a process intervention is needed. It is exactly like a doctor deciding whether he or she will prescribe a medicine or will go for a surgery in the first year. Now, if medicine is prescribed, then there are side effects. If surgery is prescribed, there are side effects. So it has to be a combination of both. What is the percentage? What is the predominant thing? Where are you beginning is the indicator of, okay, I want a structural intervention. The technology is too old. I need to change. That is where you start. As you change the technology, you will have to take care of the process element. Only then that, input or that effort or that initiative will become successful. I think Bhumi has raised her hand.
Sir, may I, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have a little difference of opinion. I don't know whether I'm correct or not.
That there are no correct and wrongs here. This is all opinions.
introduction of a new technology
Yes.
will lead to a change of process. That is how a job is done. It will not lead to a change in the structure of the organization. If the technology leads to a change, sir, just giving you an example, sir, at one point in time when we were very young, the banks used to have manual ledgers. The railways used to have manual booking. Thereafter, the booking system underwent a change and railways changed over to the automated booking, wherein you could see it across India anywhere. Now, it does not involve a change in the structure of railways, the way they are selling the tickets. So how can it become a structural change? It is a change in the way railways has been doing their job.
Are you an engineer?
No, sir.
Or a science background person?
Yes, sir.
That is there where it is, you know. You see, I immediately recalled my first day in my master's in social work after having done my BSc honors in botany. And the sociology professor was telling me that marriage is an institution. And I laughed that what is this? What is he talking about? That my concept of an institution was some school, college, some building, hospital, something like that, which is called an institution. Whereas in sociological terms, a marriage is an institution, you know. So here you cannot give a scientific definition of structure. When you are talking, this is, you know, the human behavior part of it, so long as you are wanting to bring about, which directly has nothing to do with human behavior on the face of it, is a structural intervention. And anything that directly impinges on, starts with technology, change of technology does not start with human behavior change, but it involves a human behavior change. The clerks that were doing the manual reservation, taking your example, I'm sure they would have to be trained seriously about using the computers. And I have seen that in my time. Computers were introduced in a big way and we had to continuously train people. And I've seen very, very senior secretaries and, you know, typists very having a very tough time. Humse kya galti ho gayi saab, ye sab kyun kar rahe ho? So the introduction of that, you said very rightly, banking. I recall those days of late 70s, early 80s when banks started bringing in computers. There was so much of unionization, so much of management kind of unrest. The point here is how you define structure. So please, if you go back, what is the definition of structural intervention? Please understand that.
Sir, before we go any further, could I ask one question?
Yeah, sure. But let me complete this. So actual structure of the organization, when you say here, individuals relate to one another in a different way. Now, when individuals relate to one another in a different way, it could be boss, subordinate, it could be colleagues, whoever. So you have brought about a change, which is technological change, but that necessitates behavioral change. You didn't start with a behavioral change. That is the only factor. Whereas process intervention, see this definition, involves changes in the attitudes and behavioral processes. That is the first thing. And these things will become clear as we come to, you know, how do you build a team? What is the problem? Where was it getting stuck? Was the if the technology is appropriate, you have provided the latest technology, but it is still not giving you results. Why? Because people are not relating to each other in the right. So your initial input is purely structural. So, and structural does not mean organizational structure only. It is anything that is not related directly to human behavior is a structural change. Merging of two departments, for example. Right? So there will be now one boss, and your boss may be the head of the department, or the other boss may be the head of the department. You may be a favorite of this person or not the favorite of that person. Now you have to adapt to the situation. Mergers and acquisitions I gave you, basically it is not a behavioral process to begin with, but it will involve behavioral process. So where is the root is the defining point. What is the starting point of that change that you want to bring? The moment you say I want to bring about a technological change, does it immediately talk about bring to your mind a behavioral change? That is subsequent. So it is a structural change necessitating a behavioral change. But there could be everything is there, still somebody is not performing, then there must be a behavioral element. There is no problem with technology, no problem with the raw material. For instance, these industrial strikes. Technology is there, raw material is there, power is there, but still production is not happening. Then you probably need to start with a behavioral change. Because सब कुछ दिया हुआ है फिर भी क्यों नहीं हो रहा भाई? That would be the question. And then all this will become clear. You see, social sciences are not like science. 2 + 2 is 4. Any other answer is wrong. No. In social sciences, 2 + 2 will never be 4. Keep it in your mind clearly. Which is why I asked you the question. I've been through this process myself, and therefore I know very clearly. 2 + 2 will never be 4 in social science. It can be 3, it can be 44, it can be any damn thing. So a lot of things come into play, but look at the origin first. Where are you starting? That is the thing. It will become clear as we go along. Just have a little patience. As we discuss the examples, it will become clear.
Understood.
Sir?
Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, please. Next. There was a question waiting.
Yes, sir. What Benita asked was, are these structural and process interventions clearly evident, or I mean, are they intimated to the employees, or are they subtle?
Again, this is depends on what is the kind of profile of your employees. You know, it is exactly like when your child is a 2-year-old, the way you deal with that child cannot be the same when that very same child becomes a 6-year-old or a 12-year-old. And when this is a chronological age in the organizational structure, while the chronological age may be the same. A helper who is 25 years old does not have the exposure that an engineer who is also 25-year-old will have. So there cannot be a standard, yes, you must share everything, you must not share anything kind of an approach. This is again a scientific thinking. We need to understand who are we dealing with. How do I put across the point to that person, given the ability to understand? I gave you an example last time, or last time, that when first time I created a program for my workers, probably I had to work much more, apply my mind much more as compared to the managerial effectiveness, leadership, and top management programs that I was continuously having. Because their understanding of things, their ability to concentrate, their nature of work being more physical, you just simply cannot put them in an air-conditioned conference room for 8 hours, thinking that I have given that person all the comfort. Why isn't he learning? So that is where each situation will be different. Each level will be different. How militant is your trade union in case you have to bring about a real complete organizational change where the workers have to change their behavioral patterns? Then it is a completely different exercise. I was just mentioning that when the 5-day week came, just let me give you this example because it is relevant here. So when this was brought about by Rajiv Gandhi in the middle of 1985, right? The first thing we got from the union and ours was a 17,000 people union, single union, entire Escort, all companies of Escort group, right? And we were 22,000 people over. So this union immediately, हमारा भी 5 दिन का हफ्ता करिए. So immediately we also responded by saying, ठीक है, आप जितने ट्रैक्टर 6 दिन में बनाते हो. In any case, we had second Saturdays off, mind you. So that was there because that is important, because as the subsequent conversations with them went, you will understand the relevance. So जो आप 6 दिन में बना के देते हो ट्रैक्टर, मोटरसाइकिल, शॉक अब्जॉर्बर्स, क्रेन्स, whatever, आप वो बना दो 5 दिन में, आप ले लो 1 दिन की छुट्टी, राइट? What is their thought? अरे साहब क्या बात कर रहे हो, जो 6 दिन का काम है वो 5 दिन में कैसे हो सकता है? और बल्कि आप तो ये जो हम तो 5 दिन का काम ही कर सकते हैं 5 दिन में, तो सरकार ने बोला है कि 5 दिन का हफ्ता होना चाहिए। और ये जो सेकेंड सैटरडे 12 तो आप देते ही हो हमें, वो हमारे कैजुअल लीव में जोड़ दो। जस्ट इमेजिन, हेड्स आई विन टेल्स यू लूज, राइट? कि हमें 5 डे वीक भी चाहिए, काम भी हम 6 दिन का आउटपुट नहीं देंगे, not unlike what we were talking of 8 hours a day for 5 days a week to 10 hours a day for 4 days a week. No, हम आउटपुट वो नहीं दे सकते, 5 ही दिन का देंगे। और जो हमारे ऑलरेडी 12 सैटरडेज ऑफ हैं उसको आप कैजुअल लीव में जोड़ दीजिए। दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ इनिशियल डिस्कशन दैट वी हैड, and it took us 1.5 years to negotiate with them, and somewhere 1986 we created a complete incentive scheme and created steps. Level 1 is 50 tractors, level 2 55 tractors, level 3 this, up to 18 steps, and with incentive amounts being given for the additional thing. Salary you get for the minimum, and this you get if you create more. That kind of a deal was finally 1.5 years of negotiation took place. So, but obviously you don't have to sit with a general manager production and tell him and negotiate for 1.5 years to get this through. That is what you have to understand. As an HR person, it's not important what you know or what you don't. You must know who you are dealing with. You should be equally comfortable dealing with the President of India or a beggar on the street. You must know what are the possible responses of this person, and you should be accordingly equipping yourself for handling it. That is why I gave that example of 2-year-old, 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 18-year-old. Same concept, you may have to use different ways of explaining it. I hope somewhat clarity has come.
Yes, sir. Lots of clarity.
Thank you.
Sir, can we also get some examples for process intervention?
Yeah, we are coming, Baba. You are jumping the gun. I'm still giving examples of structure. We'll come to
All right, sir. Just to make the difference clear, I mean that was very.
Yeah. Thank you. So please go step by step. Otherwise, these are difficult concepts. Let me tell you this. I try to make it simple. It's not that in one go you will understand. That's why I'm saying please keep on revising and updating. So I am still on structural. So examples and I'll come to total interventions also, which will involve both. That is also coming. So just have that little patience and go step by step. That's my only request. So
all right, sir,
introduction of new technology, changing the work schedule, these two I have told you. Developing a new system for communication. Okay, communicating information among departments. This also I have discussed deeply, that from a physical inter-office memo, now you are sending mails or even WhatsApp messages, etc. Emails are perfectly acceptable in courts also. So that is the kind of change that has happened. Who writes letters? I remember my kid days when there were those inland letters and postcards and all, and we had lots of them. So ours is a generation which has actually seen those transitions actually happening. Nowadays, telegram has been stopped after 163 years of it being in operation. Yeah? So there is no telegram today. If today's kid you say telegram, they won't understand what are you talking about. Right? So new system of communicating information. So this is a structural change, but it will need a behavioral change. That is the idea. Collapsing of 10 departments into 5. Again, I have given you an example. And this on a bigger scale, this departments into 10 into 5, 10 reduced to 5 would be an internal company thing. But when you merge organizations, again, what are you saying? It is an equivalent of this in a larger scale. That's it, right? Okay. Now we come to process intervention. Example of a process intervention. There are many such department heads who are not good listeners. And the biggest problem is, unfortunately, in our growing years, no parent, no teacher ever talks about listening carefully. Handwriting अच्छी होनी चाहिए, cursive writing, this, that, and the other, जाने क्या क्या. अच्छा बोलना चाहिए, अच्छा पढ़ना चाहिए. But I am yet to meet a parent or a teacher who says, सुना करो ध्यान. And that is why we come up thinking that, we understand everything. But what the other person is talking, we are not paying attention. So listening is a very, very important part, right? So there could be considered as insensitive, and therefore we need to do something about it. Why isn't the department progressing or giving the kind of output it is needed? That is because the consultant finds that the department head is insensitive, does not listen carefully, or gets irritated very fast, right? So what does he do, or what does she do? Now here there is no structural change needed. The officers are fine, the technology is fine, everything is fine. Raw material is fine, energy, power is fine. So what is the change needed? So there is no attempt to change the structure in any way. But it is the human process which will be the focus in these kind of situations. So see, here directly the attempt will be to change the attitude of the HOD, and if need be, the juniors also. I'm not saying this is an example where the HOD may be at fault, but equally, it is equally possible that the juniors are at fault. Whoever has a behavioral or an attitudinal problem, everything else is in place, no other physical change is happening, no technological change, no raw material change, no machine change, nothing. But it is the behavior of people which is the focus of attention of the OD. That is where it begins. And that is where is the starting point of process intervention, where the focus is largely on behavior and not altering any other. Do I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Great. So as I said in the beginning, that even if you are doing a completely structural intervention to begin with, or a completely process intervention to begin with, the other will creep in some manner. And sometimes OD consultants find it very difficult to decide, is it a structural problem or is it a process problem, right? And process is not the technical manufacturing process, please. Process is human processes, right? Now, you see the last part, why is the group producing at a substandard level? The right technology has been provided, the right raw material has been provided, the right machines have been provided. I'm typically taking a manufacturing, it can be converted to the services sector also. So all the ingredients that are needed for a certain task to be achieved, why is it not achieved? It is exactly like some rich kid who has access to all the books in the world, all the tutors, best of tutors in the world, etc., 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 right? All the coaching institutes of the world are at the feet of this guy. But how is it that a very poor family background person comes into the IIT or IIM or medical entrance or whatever, and this person can't? So it is the behavior of those two kids which is the problem, right? So within limited means, no structural support, that person is able to do. So the process, the hard work that the person puts in, the behavior of the child comes into. So if you come across a situation where production is at substandard level, but you find that everything is in place, so why is it not happening? So some kind of a behavioral change might be needed. And therefore, the essence here would be a process thing. Now see, to bring about that behavioral change, you might have to alter some of the stuff. But your basic intervention remains process in order to ensure that the process change happens. Structural changes may be required. Right? That is the idea. How? This is how. So you find that sales and production, this is those of you who have worked in the manufacturing setup would know, sales and production will always be at loggerheads. Sales will say you are not producing the quality which our clients want, and production will say आपको बेचना नहीं आता, फालतू में हमारे को बोलते रहे. Ditto for finance, they will be typically conservative, will not be able to, they are tight-fisted. So you will keep on harping about why you need the money, and they will always keep on asking for more and more proof or more and more clarity as to why you need this money. So it might be advisable here when the production and sales both are not willing to change their behavior. Somebody, it is like a mediator kind of person, a commonly respected person from some other department who can talk to both the parties and understand the issues raised by each other. And when we come to teamwork, I'll show you how we do step by step. Those kind of things can be tried out. So bring in an integrator who does not have a particular selfish interest in either production or sales. He or she could be from some other department, legal department, or some corporate projects department, or some other department, corporate communications department, because communications people are good in communication. So they may be able to speak to both the sides and bring about some kind of a mediation. So this essentially, now this is where you have to understand the difference. This bringing in a mediator is a structural change. There was no such organizational structure. But was it the initial purpose to bring in a mediator? The initial purpose was to change the behaviors and attitudes of the sales head and the production. But it became necessary, since they were not willing to listen to each other and were always at loggerheads, an independent third person is brought in who is respected generally to mediate. Now, this is a structure you have created. But your original problem remains a process problem, behavioral. It's not a technology problem or an organizational structure problem to begin with. Now you have created some kind of a, maybe temporarily, a change in the organizational structure, which is a structural change, right? Let us take another example. You might find that addition of a small little machinery will be able to sort this out. For example, I mentioned right in the beginning about our attendance. Now, prior to that, I don't think many of you would have seen those days. There used to be those punching clocks. There was a card which was there in your name, and when you entered the factory or office, you just put the clock down and it would stamp the timing on your attendance card, which was subsequently computerized when I told you that in way back in 82, we had computer attendance system. Now, prior to that, when the card system was there was possible to do a manual jugglery. Ghadi piche kar do, टाइम ऑफिस में किसी के साथ दोस्ती कर लो, वो ओवरलुक कर देगा, ये वो कर देगा. The moment you bring in a computer, you can't do all that. So if there were perennial fights between people and the attendance and pay office, because any late coming will be penalized by deduction of salary, so obviously the employee is upset. Now, when you have brought in a technology, the idea was not to bring in a technology. Please understand this. What was your original problem? The fights between attendance and pay office and these people for whatever reason. And you realize that, how do we change this? ये उसकी नहीं सुन रहा, वो इसकी नहीं सुन रहा. तो भैया टेक्नोलॉजी ला दो इसके अंदर, कंप्यूटराइज कर दो. अब कोई झगड़ा नहीं कर सकता, कंप्यूटर अपने आप रिपोर्ट जनरेट करके सीधा सैलरी बना देगा. अब क्या झगड़ा? So this is where adding new machinery was not the intent. Please understand. The intent was to sort out the jhagda. And you found that adding a new machinery would help in that jhagda. So your original intent was process. Moving about that jhagda, end to that jhagda, you have brought in a structural. That is the end. Then it could involve redesigning the existing machinery, placing workers close together. Before, of course, these days that would not be permissible. That is why I have marked it there. They can communicate more effectively. In one of the earlier classes, I told you that Mahindras, who were our direct competitors, there were only two major competitors for us. We were Escort, Mahindras in Mumbai and Nashik, and Chennai, TAFE, tractor and farm equipment. No? So these companies were our direct competitors. We controlled 90% of the tractor market. But when Mahindras introduced this layout where the straight line assembly was converted to a U-shaped assembly, and all the operators were to sit inside that U, we were very curious to know कि इतना पैसा क्यों खर्च कर रहे हैं फालतू में. And that is when, luckily they were nice, and sometimes competitors also collaborate. So we got that permission and we visited. Not me, but technical people. And then we realized that the whole idea was that in an assembly line, if it is a straight line, there are only two people that you can be close to, the person on your right and the person on your left. But if you are sitting in that U formation, obviously these two people remain. Plus, just behind you, there are three more people, one directly behind you and on the two sides. So now you are in touch with five people in your work situation. So redesigning existing machinery, placing workers close together may result in their better understanding of each other, helping each other, etc. Now, this was not the original intention. Original intention was to improve productivity, behavior, bring workers close to each other. So the physical distance was becoming a barrier to the workers coming close to each other. Why do you think all these fun that you keep on organizing in offices, family day, this day, that day, what is the purpose? Excursions. Why do you do it? That's not the purpose of the company. If you strictly look at it, is it my job? I'm purposely asking the question in a rude way. Pardon me for that. If I am the owner of the company, is it my job to make you happy and take you on a picnic? I'm sorry. That's not my job. But what is exciting me to do that? That if I remain friendly with my people, if I spend a little bit money on this, the workers will come closer to each other and my productivity will increase. There is no charity involved here. Please understand. The Factories Act, for instance, says that if you have 250 workers in your factory, you have to provide a canteen. But the Factories Act does not say that you have to provide a subsidized canteen. Why do most of the factories, in fact, all factories Why is it that a thali which would otherwise be worth probably 30-40 bucks is given to you for 5 rupees or 10 rupees? Why? You think it is charity? No. You want the workers to be on time, post lunch, back at work. You also want their health to be okay. If you do not provide a subsidized canteen you have provided because the law says so. Now you have priced the thali at 40 rupees. Now if a worker cannot afford to buy that thali every day for one meal, every meal 40 rupees, right? So what will happen? He will anyway either bring from home or go out to the dhaba outside to eat or whatever. And then you have no control on that quality of food. You have no control on the time. If you say that why are you not back in half an hour, he will say साहब पेट के लिए तो काम करने आते हैं, वो ढाबा में देर हो गया तो मैं क्या करूं, खाना भी ना खाऊं. So you have created a system within the organization to partly fulfill the legal requirement, but the other requirement. It will increase productivity. You will stagger them according to that. ये डिपार्टमेंट जो पार्ट्स बनाते हैं वो सुबह से पार्ट्स बनाएंगे और जल्दी लंच पे जाएंगे, 12 बजे चले जाएंगे. वो पार्ट्स जो लोग यूज करेंगे वो उसका यूज शुरू करके उसके बाद नेक्स्ट स्लॉट में जाएंगे, और जो सुबह वाले पार्ट्स बना रहे थे शाम को जो बनाएंगे वो अगले दिन सुबह असेंबली वाले यूज करेंगे. So these are all fitted into some kind of a structural means. But basic thing is you want people back. It is a process thing that people should behave in a manner that they are available at their workplace when they are needed. Because assembly line production में अगर एक भी बीच में से गायब है तो आपकी कोई ना कोई गैप रह जाएगी. The next person cannot do his or her job unless the previous man has done his job. So these are the considerations. It is essentially a process change you are looking at, but a structural change helps to bring about that process. So far, so good. Is it becoming clearer? I am not saying clear.
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Now let's do a case situation. Caselet rather. Please read. And I'll ask you, what kind of intervention would you propose? Tell me when you have understood the content. Just reading will not do. You have to understand the key points. Maybe make a small note of the key things that you notice here. This is one of the earliest OD interventions. You can see the year, 1948. And that time, at least this restaurant chain did not have, that is why I put it in bracket, that was not in the original content, that nowadays the tips are not individual. All the tips that you get are pulled into a box, and there is a point system in any good restaurant, and they get distributed based on the level of points you, meaning the level you are at. So this kind of a jagda will not happen now. But those days, each individual waitress or waiter would get based on whatever individually the customer gives to him or her. Facts are clear? Then
Yes,
we
sir.
will move on to the next. Facts are clear?
Yes, sir.
Pretty simple, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then what happened? Now the OD consultant is involved. He studies the scenario. Is this clear?
Again, it is a process intervention.
Sorry?
I said again, it looks like to be a process intervention because it actually has
Fair
to do with
enough.
the behavior.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Are all of you clear on the facts and what the OD consultant found out? Because that is how you first you have to find out now what is happening before you come to a solution, right? So Arvind is suggesting that there is so much of behavioral issues involved here. So typically there should be a process intervention. That's what he sees. Perfectly fine. But are you clear
sir.
on the facts first of all?
Yeah.
Then we move.
Yes, clear, sir. Yeah.
Clear? Right? So first slide is about what was happening, behavioral, lot of issues. Second slide is about the OD consultant coming in and trying to understand what is happening.
Yes.
Right? Clear? Okay. Now let's go ahead. How many of you feel like Arvind that process is needed? Process intervention is the key.
Sir, process intervention along with, I mean, he has already written it in the chat box that along with that, structural intervention would also be sought for.
Right? So structural will always come in, but what would be the key? What is the starting point? What is your diagnosis to begin with?
Sir, my advice would be go for
Process.
structure. The process will or the behavior will fall in place.
Okay. So what structure would you propose?
I will say that it should be written, always a written order only that is accepted, and that will be in proper order. Like the first in will be first out. So they have no leeway to play favorites, and there will be no.
Seems you are from the hospitality business. That's a very good answer, actually. Right? Are the others paying attention? The two answers that we have got, because on the face of it, obviously there are a lot of, behavioral issues. That is obvious in the fact. But now this thing is brought in that what is the root cause of these behavioral issues? Can we tackle that? And that could be a structural intervention also. So you see, could be both. I am not suggesting anything as of now. I am saying this is how an OD guy has to think. Think a little deep. Okay, now let's come to the next. So the first thought is that call in all the people, have a group discussion, let us understand and try to build a good team who will not keep on fighting with each other. That would be a process intervention typically. However, in this particular instance, the OD consultant believed that the basic cause of the problems was structural. The way the relationship between the cooks and waitresses was structured. Okay. Clear? The next slide will actually give the solution. But you have to move step by step so that there's complete clarity in your mind. We understood what was happening, which typically told us a lot of behavioral issues. Then the OD consultant comes in, studies the situation. First glance, it obviously appears to be a process intervention because behavioral issues are in it. But the OD consultant, after studying, feels that it is more of a structural issue. So what does he do? I'm so happy that one of you has already suggested exactly this. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah. So I have given you the reference also because we need to quote the sources. That's important, and be grateful for the inputs that we get from any source. And towards the end of my slide, each slide, I have not gone to the end of any of the slides so far. So there is a whole list of thanks to various people. Okay. Now we come to total organizational. In a way, we have understood. Obviously, total would mean that the process and structural both are needed. एक से नहीं चलेगा. Right from the beginning. अभी तक हमने क्या देखा? What is the initial thought कि यहाँ process चाहिए, यहाँ structural चाहिए. Maybe your deep investigation indicates differently. That is why I picked up this particular case, very old case, but it gives you that initial feel of process, but actually the solution lies in structure. So, total organizational intervention. Okay, right in the beginning, when we were trying to understand what is OD, I had said that when you look at individual employees and try to develop them, that is HR. Whereas when you try to develop either the entire organization or a substantial part of the organization. So, total organizational intervention is needed when rather than just one group, it is spread. The problem is spread. And the entire division is not performing the way it is expected to perform. Or the best indicator is losing money. Nobody starts a business with the intention of losing money. No organization. And mind you, that includes NGOs also. And I think I have given this example earlier. Your declared objective may not be making money, but even an NGO needs to be conscious about its management. Because if 1 lakh rupees is used to help hundreds, what is it called, underprivileged people, why can't that same 1 lakh be used to help 110 underprivileged people? You don't have to make profits as such, but you can always create a surplus in that way. So in business organizations, you can call the surplus as profit, but management and good management rather is needed in every kind of organization, even family for that. Yeah? Management is everywhere. So these 4 are the same because these are the methods or techniques that we normally use to analyze and solve a problem. And most of these are equally effective for structural also. So even if the problem was process oriented, you found that a substantial amount of structural change was needed to make the division or the organization profitable. So these are the it's a kind of repeat here. But so basically, what is the differentiator? Out and out, if you feel that we need to have change of people's behaviors, you start with a process intervention. And along the way, whatever little structural changes are required, maybe 10, 15, 20%, that is brought in. Or you would say, no, our technology is completely outdated. We can't survive next 5 years on this technology. So there is a need to bring in the new technology. So you start with a structural input, but as you go along, you also feel, oh, people have to be trained. Oh, they are not accepting new technology. Oh, conflicts are happening. Oh, managers are not able to do this. So a lot of process inputs might come. So it is the initial part which actually is structural or process, but it will involve some amount of the other always. And if it is kind of a 50-50 situation, then of course you can call it a total organization. I think Suketu has a question, is it?
Yes, Sumit sir, I have a question.
Please.
A lot of thoughts boomeranging in my mind. So
Please
I
go
just
ahead.
voice one. So Sumit sir, when you give an example, so for a structural intervention and for a process intervention, the perspective of an OD consultant or an internal OD guy is very distinctively different, because from a structural point of view, he kind of his perspective would be more on the process, more on the organizational processes, more on business metrics, and less on the behavioral science of it. Whereas in process, the perspective is more on the behavior science of it.
Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right. The only thing I'm trying to repeatedly point out is, even when you start with the realization that people don't behave with each other properly, how to make them behave properly, like we just saw in the waitresses case.
Correct.
So obviously, 100% of the time you would feel this needs a process intervention.
Correct.
But when you look at what is happening and how it can be solved, what comes to your help is a structural intervention. You are not allowing them to interact with each other by putting in that spindle with a time.
Correct.
So the earlier order has to be handled before, and the later order has to be handled later. Simple.
So here.
So you are right. You are absolutely right. But we have to, the whole idea is, from what you have said, I'm just trying to paraphrase, that we have to have an open mind.
Okay.
An OD consultant cannot be a closed mind person. Technology will solve everything. Sorry, it doesn't.
Correct. So
technology will solve a lot of things, yes, provided people adopt or adapt that technology and they groom themselves, make themselves ready to do it. So that is where the openness of an OD consultant will be there. And I am openly admitting that you cannot have standard scientific definitions of these things. Okay. They will morph into each other all the time. You can say that is a problem of social sciences, or it is a beauty of social sciences. I distinctly remember one of my favorite friends, unfortunately, he was a professor. He was the director of IMI in Delhi, unfortunately passed away young, many years back. Professor C.S. Venkatrathna. Some of you may have read his book also. So he once told me, we were having an interaction. So he says, the beauty of social sciences is, he was quoting someone, I can't recall who it was, but I heard it from him. So he said, you see, the beauty of social sciences is, what you are saying may be absolutely right, but the opposite of that is also equally right. You will never have this situation generally in science or physical sciences or natural science. It is only in social science that it happens, though a lot of things are now coming up, even in the physical sciences. For instance, quantum theory and all, the same atom can be, I'm not talking of quantum theory, the same atom is at two different places at the same time, which was unthinkable. So those kind of theories have also come up. So we need to be comfortable with this idea that yes, predominantly there is a process change needed, behavioral changes needed. But to facilitate that, we might need, and on the opposite side, yes, there is 100% need for new technology, better technology, but there will be a process element to it. Only then we will be successful. Arvind, I hope you are keeping track of time. I don't remember.
Sir, there is only 5 more minutes left.
Oh.
6 more minutes left.
Okay.
So
So
it is 7:25.
total
now.
organizational interventions. Let us quickly finish this part then. Now you see here, it's possible to use, but there could be issues that would come. So as an OD consultant, before implementing, you may have planned a structural intervention. For example, here, management might redefine all the jobs in the organization without any group discussion with the employees. But do you expect it to sail through smoothly? And if you recall, last time also I had mentioned, Kurt Lewin's force field analysis is a very, very powerful tool. Even when you are 100% right and you are thinking in terms of benefit of the employees, there still would be resistance. So a sensible manager first creates those coalitions whereby the supportive forces or facilitating forces are more than the restraining forces. Right? That is what force field analysis does. So you don't jump into it just because you are right. Okay. So a total organizational intervention requires a large amount of time, expenditure, both, and it has to be a continuous process. That is why I gave you as part of the change management that is also a decision. Should it be a slow change, a fast change? Should it be in one go or in phases, etc. So those are choices which will depend on the situation that you are facing. There is no standard formula that you go and apply.
Sir, but structural intervention would, inevitably affect these process intervention.
Yes.
Even if it is for this example, if you take this example where management might redefine all the jobs in the organization without any group discussion with the employees,
right,
it still would affect the process. And I mean, there would be a process intervention to be followed.
100%. Totally right. I mean, this may fall flat also. You know, if you think you can ride over your employees today, you are living in a fool's paradise. And another aspect, to me, what you said brings to the fore, many of us who are not going in depth into things, they only see what is there on the surface. No employee probably will come and tell you on your face that, oh, no, we will not accept. But you do not know how much of damage could be caused by them, by their non-cooperation. How will you assess that? So you have to be careful that सिर्फ कह देने से, लिख के सर्कुलर दे देने से इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हो जाएगी, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं. तो वो पहले ही जब आपको ये मैच्योरिटी ओडी कंसल्टेंट में होनी चाहिए कि हम ठीक भी कर रहे हैं तब भी रेजिस्टेंस होगा. ये जो हम रीडिफाइन कर रहे हैं ये एम्प्लॉइज के फेवर में होगा, रेजिस्टेंस वो हमें सोचना. इसलिए उनको पहले से इन्वॉल्व करके. Why do you think in the early first or second shows I took up the concept of desire for involvement? This is desire for involvement. इसमें वो है आगे कि आप उनको इन्वॉल्व करेंगे तभी आपको अल्टीमेट कमिटमेंट उनसे मिलेगी. One of the things that most organizations do is this kind of questionnaire survey. You are all familiar with this, no? Employee satisfaction survey, employee engagement survey, though there is a difference between the two, but I'm just giving you examples. So next time we will get into this part, take up some of the specific types of intervention which are already laid down for us to smoothen our journey through OD. So we'll get into these specific techniques. Yeah. Any questions? Over to you, Arvind. I think it would be nearing the time you gave me.
Yes, sir. It is already 7:30 now. In case
Right.
if we have any questions from someone, we can actually take it up and then we can discuss.
Yeah.
Or we can close.
And
the
once
session.
again announce that that paper that you have promised, they have to come ready
Yeah.
with the facts. Only then a sensible discussion will happen.
Right. I mean, by tomorrow, I'll actually share case studies from the previous year question papers, and expect that in next class everyone comes prepared with those case studies so that we can discuss that in our class. And I'll also share it with you, Sumit sir.
Yes.
Sir, can I ask a question?
We will go back to theory. Don't think that I'm skipping. By then, we have seen the basic concept, we have seen the practices, and then we will go back further on theory. That it has to be a two-way approach. That will be a better approach to my mind.
Sir, can I ask a question? Like the case you mentioned, it was very clearly written that, these are the problems. But when you go as a consultant, you might have to wade through to just clear out or understand what the problem is. Because the client usually
Yes.
talks of symptoms rather than the problems to you.
Yes. True.
So
True.
how do you determine that, this is the symptom and this is the problem? Because it is entire feel of the organization is based on hearsay or what we get feedback from the client, and from early in the first 2-3 meetings, it is only the seniors who contact us, and that is how you actually propose some action. And it is only later when
Right.
you are agreed to the intervention that you step in and get to understand the real problem. So
Right.
sometimes it happens that they'll tell, okay, this is behavioral problem, and you say, okay, if this is a behavioral problem, because the symptoms have been presented to you as a problem, and
Right.
when you step in real life, you
Right.
realize that, okay, the problems were actually symptoms and the problem is completely different.
Right.
So you end up thinking like the case you mentioned, the client could have come saying that my cooks have a major problem and I need to address it, so I want you to train them.
Right.
And you agree to the training, and when you step in, you realize that the outcome is not related to the training, but it requires structural change.
Right.
So how do you approach this? I'm sure this is a very simple thing which I picked up from your case study, but this would be happening pretty regularly, isn't it?
Correct.
And how do you, as an OD consultant, address this issue when you are talking to the client first, second time?
See, this is where the classic this thing is. Are you interested in just the short-term, quick money that is, that is on offer, the low-hanging fruit, or are you here for the long haul, where you want to build your reputation as a person who does things seriously? I tell them in my first meeting, and I've lost many assignments on that. Now, I know some of you will not like that answer, but I am very clear in my head that if you want the result, you have to have trust on me that I will only be there till the time you need me, whether it is process or it is. So this now goes on to what you are talking of is the process of consulting, management consulting process, not the process consultation. It is the management consulting process, how much of intervention will happen, when will I taper off, etc. And this is only a diagnostic meeting. I am not going to implement this till such time I am convinced that the conclusions that you have reached are the right conclusions. I tell them on their face, and I don't get some assignments, absolutely. But I am not in it as, the initial training program. This has happened in an actual corporate where they said, "Aap hamara team building ka program kar dijiye." One place I told them, team building का program मैं तब करूँगा जब पहले program में CEO and all the HODs will be there. I am not interested in doing a team building program for your finance or for your HR team or for your sales team or whatever. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. I am not a fly by night operator कि वो कल को आप बोलते फिरोगे सुमित चौधरी आया पैसे लेके चला गया कुछ तो हुआ नहीं फायदा. It is better I don't take the assignment. Now that may be difficult for some people when you are in your initial stage of consulting. It may be a difficult choice, but I have opted for that and I have gained out of it. I shared an example where for 2 years we did not get any assignment, but they got back to us. While initially they had not taken it up because somebody else committed better terms. So you have to be very clear. If you are just looking for some quick earning because you are between jobs and you want to utilize that, that's another. But serious consultants will not fall into this. They will make it clear to the company that it's a long run.
Okay, so you say, so as a consultant, you will say that, okay, I will want to talk and get into it before I get into any terms with you.
Yes,
so you spend
I
time
will tell
together
them,
and then
don't think that I'm mistrusting your assessment, but I would like to come to these very conclusions on my own also.
okay,
Before
makes sense.
yeah. And for every meeting, I have a very nominal cost, you know, so that they
Right.
don't take you for a ride. Otherwise, what they will do is clients 50 meeting में बुलाते रहेंगे because उनका तो कुछ जा नहीं रहा. So
हाँ,
for every meeting, there is a cost. Let it be 2,000 rupees, 3,000, 5,000, nothing, but something. So long as they don't pay for it, they will not realize the value of your time. That is the whole
yes,
problem.
that makes sense.
So
Thank you, sir.
just build in that little thing which doesn't appear too much to them. I would say even 1,000 rupees per meeting if you keep something like that, depending on the paying capacity of the company. But they must
Right.
be made to realize. Another thing that happens is you want some information. You have created a format for them to fill it up. They will not fill it up and they will expect you to do your thing. So those kind of things have to be built in. That for every time you call me, this minimum you have to pay. This much of conveyance, this much of this.
Makes
So learn
sense.
to
Yeah.
build up a consulting assignment in those small groups. Small groupings of the activity.
Makes sense, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All the very best. I think we've exceeded the time.
Okay,
Arvind,
sir.
sir, sorry.
No, sir, not at all. Thank you for today's session also. We'll have our next session on 31st April, 31st or like 1st of
31st
May.
April?
Sorry, 1st of May. My apologies.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you,
you, sir.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
everyone, for joining.